How's it going, guys? This is Pila Gomers, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Philippine Airlines Boeing 777-300 extended range in the 75 years livery with the Philippine Airlines tug included. I am so excited to review this model, so let's go right in. But first, let's begin with the box as usual. In the front of the box, we have an illustration of the plane with the look inside feature. At the bottom, we have the Gemini Jets logo and some description of the model. On the left side, we have another illustration of the plane and the Gemini Jets logo. On the top, logo, warnings, barcode. On the right side, we have another drawing. Taking a look at the back, we have an illustration of the plane flying with the clouds, and other descriptions of the model and the company that makes them. This model is officially licensed by the Boeing company. That's pretty cool. Now let's take a look inside. Here we have the massive 777 and the tug that's included with it. Feel more than welcome to pause the video and read the description if that is of your interest. And here's a closer look at the real-world specifications. First, let's talk about how the airport tug is stored. It's inside a plastic bag that's taped to the inner packaging of the plane. Now, the tape is actually holding the tug securely, but it's a bit worrisome of the possibility of losing it. Now, in case that does worry you a bit, there is a way to store it with the plane, although you still need to be careful not to scratch the model. Let's go right ahead and jump in on the plane. Here we have the Gemini Jets Philippine Airlines Boeing 777-300ER out of its packaging. We will be taking a closer look at the tug later in the video. Starting at the front, the first thing I notice is that silver paint surrounding the cockpit windshield, which definitely looks cool. Not too far to the bottom, you'll see the windshield wipers. You can see the lines on the nose, which is accurate to the typical nose of a Boeing 777. You can also see the antennas on the front. They are very tiny. There is also a good amount of detail on the passenger doors. Going towards the bottom, we see the last three characters of the registration number on the front landing gear. Going towards the wing, we can see the landing lights, which is basically a single dot that just represents the slot for it. You can also see a gap which looks a bit too wide, making it very visible. Here we have engine 1. Taking a look at the intake, I noticed that the fan blades are straight rather than curved. Another thing is that it is basically gray all around instead of black. While not many people really look into the details of the inside of the engine, it was definitely something that caught my eye. On the right side of the engine, you can see the nacelle strake, which is rather a thick bump but definitely looks cool. Going across the silver-plated leading edge of the wing towards the front side of the wingtip, we have the red navigation light. The wingtip looks really cool and sharp. Looking over to the ailerons, there are actually characters written. It basically says no step, facing in the direction of how you would read it when you're standing on the wing. They are also located on the spoilers and the leading edge of the wing, simply advising people not to step over the moving parts of the wing. Then we can clearly see the exit route should the plane need to be evacuated. Then we have the rear fuselage, and going on the order from the front to back, we have the Boeing 777-300ER label. Then we have the registration number, which is Romeo Papa Charlie 7773. It is not necessarily the third 777 that Philippine Airlines has acquired, but rather since it is the 300 model. If anybody can confirm whether this is the third PAL 777, let me know in the comment section below. That would be pretty cool if it is. Then we have the beautiful 75 logo celebrating the 75 years of service that Philippine Airlines has served. If you take a closer look at the logo, you'll be able to see the amount of detail they put into this special logo. You can see like the white circular spots, which are very accurate to the actual logo. And as you go up, it will appear as if the red plane is leaving the condensation trails. We also see the sun with 14 visible rays. Then of course we have the red number 5. Right next to the rear passenger door, we have the Philippine flag oriented accordingly. Moving to the elevators, not much is going on except for the silver-plated leading edge and lines running across the elevators themselves. Further back, we have the APU exhaust only on the left side. Lastly, here we have the tail rudder with the beautiful logo of Philippine Airlines. You can also see lines going down as well, which clearly shows us the rudder itself and the smaller tab. Here's the view looking from the rear of the plane, and it looks fairly symmetrical and accurate to the real plane. Moving on to the right side of the plane, you're pretty much treated with most of the same things as the left side. We still have the huge Philippine Airlines logo. The Philippine flag is still oriented accordingly. We still have the 75 logo, the registration number, and the aircraft label. Since we are on the right side, we can now see the rear cargo doors with detailed color coding. Looking over the right wing, we still have the same things as the left side with the ailerons, flaps, spoilers, and the no step warnings. What's different, of course, is the big registration number and the green navigation light. Going across the leading edge, we still have the slot for landing lights. The engine is pretty much the same with its straight fan blades, although the nacelle strike is on the left side of the engine instead, of course. Continuing on to the front fuselage, we have the front cargo door, also with color coding and detailed passenger doors. Taking a brief look at the front, it is pretty much the same. Going over to the top of the fuselage, we see the upper anti-collision light and some writing. There are also antennas, as you can see here, and they're very pointy. And they've managed to do that by leaving these gaps on the top of. Here we have the tail. There is a gap going along the leading edge of the rudder, and I just noticed the two logo lights located on both sides of the elevator, which is a good detail that they did not dismiss. Lastly, we're going to take a look at the bottom. We have the front landing gear and the front gear doors are visible. Moving along to the bottom center fuselage, there are a couple of things to point out here. We can first see the Gemini Jet's logo. Then we have the lower anti-collision light. We have a hole where you can use a Gemini Jet stand that is sold separately to display your model, although they did not include the bay doors in this model. Sure, they hide well once they are closed, but if the front gear doors can be seen, so should be the main. On the topic of landing gears, there are a couple of things I want to bring up. The main landing gears do tilt, so you can perform powerful takeoffs and buttery smooth landings. This also allows you to display the model in flight more accurately. All the wheels do roll and they feel like rubber, which is pretty cool. Although the tires could be better, in a sense that some of them have that excess plastic which will definitely bother you up close. Here we have the front landing gear, and it is rather loose, as demonstrated by this wiggle test. It will definitely not fall unless you put more pressure. Onto the rear, not much is going on. We see the auxiliary power unit here, and that's pretty much for the plane. Now let's not forget that the special plane comes with an airport tug. The reason why planes are able to move the terminal and fly people from point A to point B. The slow yet powerful, overweight gas-guzzling champion. There is still a crazy amount of detail to look at. On the left side, we have the Philippine Airlines logo as well as these painted on wheels and the exhaust on a couple of smaller details. On the front is basically the cockpit, or rather the driver area for the tug. On the right side, it's the same exact thing as the left. On the back side, we still have the square version of the Philippine Airlines logo and lights on the rear. Then of course a basic representation of the mechanism that holds the aircraft tire. On the bottom, it's basically a flat surface with bumps on the side for the wheels. And you can see how these parts were assembled. This vehicle is really small and it is something you definitely do not want to lose. Now I actually don't remember if the Philippines actually has an airport pushback tug like this one. I just know that they have the ones where it's a tractor and a tug. Otherwise, it's a really nice touch that they added. It is truly a good representation of the 75 years that the nation's flag carrier has served. Despite the minor problems this model has, it is still a remarkable collectible. A definitely must have if you are able to get your hands on it.
How are you guys doing? I'm Pillar Gomers, and I thought I'd take a few minutes of your time to thank you for staying subscribed to my channel and watching my videos. I've rarely shown my face on this channel, but it's definitely not the first time. In case some of you didn't know, it's been 10 years since my channel was first created, and I thought I'd share some history for this channel. Now, if the confusing logo didn't explain enough, the name Pillar Gomers actually come from three things that I really liked when I was 10 years old. And that's the first one is I wanted to become a pilot. I still do. And secondly, I really liked Legos. And third, I liked Transformers. The original plan for this channel was to actually have a combination of those three topics in the channel. But while it's convenient for me to make videos of, it won't be convenient to a viewer that likes aviation but doesn't really like Transformers. And it's the same vice versa. Although I have definitely done a Transformers related video and a Lego related video. And I've come to realize that those two take a lot of time, and aviation related videos are the ones that I enjoy making and won't take as much time as creating these two. And that is why I decided to keep this channel aviation related. While gaining 500 subscribers in the past 10 years is pretty low to the YouTube standard today, I'm still pretty glad. And that's not counting the people who've unsubscribed. I'm so sorry and sad to see you go. But even then, that's 50 people coming to your channel and letting them know that you want to see more of your stuff. And to me, that's pretty cool, actually. Now, I know that I rarely upload videos anymore, and that's probably why I only have 500 subscribers in the past 10 years. I do still have plans for this channel. It's really only due to lack of time why I can't really upload more frequently. Although I am trying Like I said, I do have a lot of plans for this channel. I will be uploading on this channel up until I can't anymore. And while the time interval between these videos may take months, I am hoping that you would still be there with me. I want to sincerely thank you guys, and especially to those who have been with me since the beginning. I know I've seen a lot of comments saying that I've changed so much in these past years, and I'm very glad to hear from you guys. Otherwise, I hope you're safe, and I'll see you guys next time.